If you make electronic music, you can join my membership. You get access to online courses, the community. You get the weekly production gym sessions, the monthly feedback sessions. Check it out. Link in the description. It's called ZIM, Z-I-M-M, ZOiD's Inspired Music Membership. Also, the 3 things in this video, the 3 pieces of life advice I've got. Number 1, flow state, do the activities you love. Number 2, talk. Number 3, don't worry about AI. Okay, check out the video. Hello, I'm ZOiD. Welcome to another video. This one is different from any other video I've made. I'm gonna do 3 pieces of life advice from me to you, which I never thought of doing that before. But you know, I'm 46 and I've been through the ringer the last year and a half with, you know, my personal life due to my own choices. I don't talk about my personal life much on this channel, and maybe I will more in the future. I don't know, but I'll just say this: it's been a tough year and a half, but in tough times you learn. You do learn. So now I think from all of this stuff I've been going through and dealing with, that, you know, I kind of was into meditation, personal development, whatever stuff before for a long time, but you know, you just learn this stuff, you read it in a book, it doesn't really go in that deep is the thing. It was on the surface level of your mind and you're like, oh yes, you can do this, you can do that, but you know, you don't really live it unless you apply it in your life, right? So last year and a half, I had a chance to try and apply stuff, and you know, it didn't work a lot of the time. I had to try and struggle with it, but now I am coming out of it, and some things I can definitely say work really well. So what works really well? Number 1, my number 1 tip for life, whether you're going through tough times, whether times are great, no matter what you are in right now, flow state, finding the things that put your mind into a flow state is essential. For a long time, I was not doing that, or not enough, maybe. So what is a flow state? Is Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi was the name of the Czech psychologist who studied this and coined the term. And it's a state that you go and your brain waves slow down a bit into alpha brainwave state, and you're concentrated, but you're not, it feels effortless. You're in a state of effortless concentration. Time just you're not aware of time going by. You're in the moment, you're absorbed in what you're doing. It's very pleasant. You can stay in that state for, I talked about this before, but I used to stay in it for hours and hours and hours when I was 18, when I was working on music. Now, yes, I mean, an hour, if you're in the flow state doing something, like an hour can just fly by. So what things put me in a flow state, and what things might put you in a flow state? Well, let's start with sports, okay? If you play sports, if you like running, things like that, physical, changing your physiology, you get into a concentrated state, especially if you're playing. I love playing badminton. I've been playing badminton once a week for the last year, and yeah, I don't play at a competitive level or in a club or anything like that. I just play at the community center with some people who like playing. It's very fun. But we play games, and I play for an hour, and it puts me in a flow state. That 1 hour I'm playing badminton, I don't think about music, I don't think about work, I don't think about anything else. I just play badminton, and it is super fun. I really enjoy it. You know, maybe I'd like to play it more at a point, play in a club, whatever, let's see. But that's one thing, you know, but it could be anything. It could be darts, snooker, it could be anything you enjoy doing. Skateboarding is another one. I used to skateboard when I was a teenager, and I took it back up when I was 40 for less than 1 year, but now I'm 46. I got a skateboard again. Thank you, Danny. Red Rackham bought his skateboard off him because he wasn't using it. And I started again a few days ago. I've skated twice. I landed a kickflip the second day, which was after many attempts, but I was really, that put me in a flow state for sure. You gotta, if you're not concentrating, it's dangerous. You gotta concentrate. It's not like you say, now I must concentrate. You're just doing it. You're just doing the thing, and it absorbs your mind. So if you don't do those activities that absorb your mind into them, if you don't do them enough, if you're too much sitting around, your mind just doesn't feel good when it's in beta all the time. Beta brainwave activity is a bit faster than alpha, so it's like what I'm in now, talking to camera, what you're in, talking to people, moving around. Most of the time you will be in beta, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're in it all of the time, distracted, I used to even watch films. Like, I remember years ago, I'd watch a film. I'd probably get into a flow state watching a film even. I don't know if it's as high a quality a one, but, absorbed in it, watching it the whole time, hour and a half, 2 hours. And I can't even do that now. Rarely watch a whole film now. It's like watching a film, 20 minutes later, do something else, come back to it. It's very stop-start. So your mind stopping and starting different things, it's in beta. Not good to be like that all of the time. So that is my number one piece of life advice. And the activities that you choose, this is really important. The activities should be the activities that you love to do if you have them. Like for me, I grew up when I was a teenager, I played badminton, I skateboarded, and I played music, and I loved those activities. And I kept on playing music my whole life, but skateboarding and badminton just dropped off. I just stopped doing them. Whatever. I didn't have time. I was doing other things. And I didn't really think that I missed them until many years later when I started doing them again. And I was like, wow, they're so great for my mind and I enjoy them so much. Why didn't I make time for them? Make time for activities that you love doing. But have fun in your life. As I was saying to my friend Connor, you got to have some fun in your life. Activities. Like my dad played table tennis a lot when he was younger, and then he worked and didn't play table tennis for like decades. And then he retired and he plays table tennis again, and now he's like plays for Ireland sometimes in the over 75s table tennis, going to international tournaments. He's really into table tennis and he's great at it. So do the activities you love and get into a flow state. That's my number one piece of advice, life advice. You'll just feel better. You'll just be happier. My number two piece of life advice is pretty common one that everyone should know, is that you talk to people, talk to your family, talk to your friends. If you have a therapist and can afford one, you talk to them, obviously. But if you don't, you still have to talk to whoever you can. If you don't have anyone, you can, call the Samaritans and talk to someone. There's people you can talk to, and the talking is like a sort of bringing the thoughts in your head into a different level. You've got thoughts, you've got speech, and you've got action. 3 different levels of. It all starts in the mind. As Buddha said, everything starts in the mind first. So, your thoughts in your head, if they just circle around and stay thoughts and you never speak them out loud, I feel that's it's not great. It's a dangerous sort of place to be, because you got to disconnect there. You got to disconnect from, in your life, your actions and your speech are one thing and your thoughts are another thing. So you disconnected from yourself. Your thoughts and your speech and your actions ideally are all similar and aligned. They're all like, what you're thinking, you're saying, and what you're saying, you're doing. I like skateboarding. I think it, I say it, I do it. It's super simple. But if your thoughts are full of your problems and your things that is making you very unhappy, and then your speech is like, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm grand, yes, how are you? And then your actions are like just doing stuff. I've lived that, and if you're living that, just talk to somebody and try and change it. And the third piece of life advice that I have is kind of off topic, another tangent, but there is a lot of doom and gloom out there, and especially a lot of stuff about AI is going to do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. And I would say, about AI, don't worry about AI, and don't become reliant on AI yourself. A lot of people are. Not me. I'm barely ever use it, which is my choice. But if you use it, that's fine. I'm not saying do not use it. I'm saying do not become reliant on it. And be careful, because becoming reliant is very easy to do. Think about like GPS, Google Maps. If you start to use it all of the time, I know I have friends who can't drive without it, even somewhere really close in their neighborhood. It's become a habit of relying on the thing telling you where to go. So you lose the part of your brain. Your part of your brain atrophies that is able to figure out directions. I want to lose that ability, even though, of course, I still use Google Maps all the time when I'm driving somewhere I don't know, but I don't use it, if there's somewhere that I drive to a couple times, then I don't have to use it anymore, because I still have the ability to learn new places that I go. And as well as that, I watched a really good video on YouTube yesterday, which I'll put a link in the description, about AI and about how it's been studied. And MIT did a study, and they showed, it was in last year, and they got 3 groups of people and studied them writing an essay, one group using ChatGPT, one group using Google search, and one group using nothing, put their own memory. And at the end, the ability to recall anything that they wrote in their essay. And the ChatGPT group, something at the door, is my lovely postman, Ben. So what was I saying there? Yeah. So the group that used ChatGPT, 83% could not recall anything that they wrote, because they didn't use their own mind. Okay, so what else in that video? It explained that we know how AI works. It's like takes in a massive amount of data, and then it seems to be creative with that data that it has, mixing it up in different ways. But actually, if you looked at how a human brain, each human brain has got, incredible amounts of experiences which it can be creative from. And the AI has a pretty limited data set compared. So yes, some people might say the argument that eventually it will have data on the scale of a human's data, human experiences. And maybe that will happen, we don't know, but don't worry. For now, I would say, if you keep on retaining your own ability to be human, be creative, learn from your experiences, and create new ideas, then that will stand you in good stead in the future, when many humans lose the ability, which they will, because they become reliant on AI and lose the ability to be creative and come up with new ideas. So like in music, I know a lot of people use AI tools different, I'm talking about like different types of AI tools, like even whatever new EQs and new compressors come along, and they'll be like, you powered with AI technology, and you can just press a button and you don't have to set your settings anymore. It'll just be like, there's the best settings for your track. I'm highly skeptical of tools like that, because every time you outsource your own decision making about anything, what's the purpose of that? You want to finish your track quicker? You want to just make more tracks in a faster amount of time? And in the end, what's happening? Your tracks aren't really yours anymore as much as they would have been if everything was your own decision making. Like what's more important, having a polished track that's the same as everyone else's polished track, or a horrible, janky, unpolished thing that no one's ever heard before? Right? That's what I'm after. I mean, I'll make it sound as good as I can with my own ears and ability. My strength is not polished production anyway, although, you know, some people do compliment me on my production. But my strength is in being creative, coming up with ideas. You know, that's my strengths. And that's what I teach my students. So that's my 3 pieces of life advice. I've got a membership you can join if you like to do electronic music. If you make electronic music, you can join my membership. Link below. I'm going to have another 10-month mentorship opening up soon. There's only 6 places. It fills up very fast. If you're interested, sign up on the priority list for that. Get into the membership first. It's much less each month. And that is it for this video. Thanks for watching. You know, appreciate if you leave a comment or if you subscribe or anything like that. Okay, see you soon.